This episode is brought to you by Muntins Malts, a company that is passionate about providing premium malts to brewers worldwide. For over a century, Muntins has been a leading supplier of brewing and distilling malts, offering the finest British malted barley on the market. You can experience the difference Muntins offers by joining a recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club, because every kit that ships out now includes premium Muntins malt. You know, we've known the Muntins crew for a long time, and I can tell you, friend, you're going to love brewing with their grains. Ask your local supply shop to carry Muntins malts, or homebrewers can join our Trub Club at homebrewhappyhour.com/club, be a part of the community, and come brew with us. Thank you, Muntins, for supporting our efforts and homebrewers worldwide. Today's show is brought to you by Hopsdirect.com. Grown in the esteemed Yakima Valley on the Pewterball family farm, Hopsdirect.com offers the widest variety of hops available online at incredibly competitive pricing. It's simple. They grow hops, they sell hops, and they ship hops straight from their family-owned farm to your doorstep. Producing the highest quality hops is Hopsdirect.com's passion, and they're proud to be an independent grower in the craft beer industry. Go to Hopsdirect.com right now and get what you need to make your brew day better. That's Hopsdirect.com. Today's show is brought to you by Imperial Yeast. You hear us gushing over Imperial Yeast all the time, and that's because their yeast performs for us in every batch that we brew. Imperial Yeast is adored by commercial breweries and home brewers alike. Their pitch-right pouches are jam-packed with over 200 billion fresh yeast cells, guaranteed to deliver flawless, fast fermentations every time. Imperial Yeast strains are grown by a team of pro brewers and home brewers who live to help other brewers learn more and ferment better. Join any recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club and get a free upgrade to premium Imperial Yeast with every recipe kit that ships out to you. Learn more at homebrewhappyhour.com/club and come brew with us.
Entertaining shows with content that spreads information and sparks discourse throughout the community. This is the Pearl Media Network.
Carbonating in the same keg I fermented in, Troubleshooting Regulator Creep, and our 2023 Holiday Gift Guide. This is Homebrew Happy Hour, episode 357. Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show where we supply the answers to your homebrewing questions and discuss all things related to craft beer. And if you have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com. You could click on that submit a question link at the top of the page, fill out the form, and it'll email me, blah, blah, blah. But even better, hear me out. You could call it in. You could leave us a voicemail. I could play it on a future episode. You'd get yourself a $25 gift card to kegconnection.com when you use our hotline 325-305-6107. I am one of your hosts, Joshua Stubing, joined as always by the Director of Operations at cmbecker.com down there, Mr. James Carlson, sporting the Rangers. I love it. And then he is the President and Chief Keg Washer of kegconnection.com, Mr. Todd Burns, Grizzly Adams over there. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hello.
I changed the screen to see all three. I didn't know if you were taking a picture of me. I would have posed better for you, James. I don't know if what you were taking a picture of, but Todd, looking dapper as ever with the beard. You are almost going full blown Santa Claus, like Hawaiian Santa Claus this year.
No, I trim it every week.
No,
I just mean
the look you've got. The look you've got's great. I like it. I think the only person who doesn't like it vocally is your mother.
Santa Claus had a very long beard, like Guy. I remember my buddy.
Well, that's
Guy.
why I said Hawaiian Santa, like
I got you.
Like you're about to get on the surf sleigh, and mahalo, my brother, or whatever they say. Ya bra,
mahalo,
ya bra. Let's get some spam bra. You've been to Hawaii more than I have. You would know what they say more than I do. But the holidays are coming up.
Most people in Hawaii just talk normally.
Yeah. Was I making prejudice up that didn't have to exist? Just like injecting it into the show. We do have a nice jam-packed episode. We have listener feedback. We've got 3 total voicemails. We've also got someone writing in talking about pressure fermenting. We got a lot of good content today. Before we get to that, a little bit of small talk. Todd, I want to recap pretty briefly. I'm going to put a picture right now, bing, in the middle of you. You were in Chicago visiting your oldest daughter who moved there for work, and it happened to be your wife's birthday, so you did this awesome trip planned for her, made all this stuff out. And you also we got an email from a listener named Barry. I won't give your last name out, Barry, but he had recommended this brewery, Dovetail Brewery, and you went and ended up being like a phenomenal brewery.
Oh, yeah, it was really, really good. You and James would have particularly liked it because it was German beers. So I had the Kolsch, which was excellent. I had the Alt, which was excellent, which is extremely unusual. You can find a good Colt. Yeah. You can find a good Colt.
Yeah, Colt.
By just going on. But a Kolsch also, you can find a good Kolsch just by going to a brewery that brews it. Usually, a lot of them are good. But an alt beer, I don't ever remember going into a brewery, ordering their alt beer and saying, that tastes like an alt beer. This one did.
And stateside, specifically, in the United States, is what you mean. Because y'all do that all the time in Germany. Y'all go to breweries in Dusseldorf.
So, if I go to a brewery in Dusseldorf that makes alt beer, then it tastes like an alt beer because it is an alt beer. I mean,
yeah. I was just kidding. I was just being a stickler for semantics. I'm just saying, in the United States, there's a handful of breweries we've even been in that have an alt, and they haven't been the greatest. They haven't been that
right. That's what I found, and this one was very good. Let me think. What else did they have? They had
Pilsner.
Yeah.
A Czech Pils. I remember you.
A Czech dark. No, a dark Czech.
That's what it was. A dark Czech Pils.
Dark Czech. Anyway, I recommend it highly.
Dovetail.
Dovetail. Yeah. I was very impressed.
Then I posted that picture that you had sent, and it turns out everybody loves it. Like a lot of people in our audience that are from that area were like, oh my God, yes, you are absolutely right, Todd. It's the greatest brewery in our area. It is phenomenal. I love that about how there are some states, there's some cities, regions, whatever, that have these phenomenal breweries. And correct me if I'm wrong, Todd, Dovetail doesn't distribute probably to Texas. I've never looked for them.
No.
But that's what I like. I'm saying, like, there's these cool pockets within beer towns. And Chicago, I don't know if I'd say it's necessarily a beer town. It is a culinary town, right? Chicago's pretty... has a good history of gastronomy.
Oh yeah. There's lots of good restaurants there. I like Chicago. I always enjoy visiting. My daughter, of course, is there, and we've got a really good customer that we've had, our vendor / customer we've used forever.
Yep.
I got to visit with him, so it was a good trip.
Cool city and cool beer, good beer rather. And I'm glad, Barry, thank you so much for that recommendation. We are always open for recommendation. That's why my wife sometimes finds it creepy when I'm telling people where we're going to be, but for the podcast, not just my personal life. Like, hey, this week I'm going to be here. No, but when we're traveling and I tell her like, no, because we want our community is incredible with engaging with us. And if we say like, hey, we're going to be in Boulder, Colorado or whatever, they're going to be like, oh my God, you've got to try this place on Pearl Street or blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like they're very quick with it too.
I don't understand why it would freak her out.
She just thinks it's weird. Like, I know. Well, she doesn't still get the concept that people watch this or interact with us. She thinks,
okay.
She is not convinced it's real.
No, you sometimes think, I mean, like, you don't like it when I give your phone number out.
That's different than telling people where we're going to be. That's very different.
No, not really.
Oh, my gosh. Anyway. So
my phone number is 512-749-7713. So
that's right. And hold on. I'm going to put it on the screen as you're saying, call now, text now. People are I am just that's also a testament to how great our audience is, that Todd has given his number out multiple times and there hasn't been a single inappropriate text, which pisses me off. I haven't gotten the inappropriate ones, but I get them all on our hotline and I reply to them. But
why do you think I've never gotten an inappropriate text? That's ridiculous.
I figured you would have told me. You're like, no, that's between me and the sender. Why would I don't tell you everything.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yes, the Todd's trip to Dovetail, and y'all are actually going. So next week we'll have an episode, the three of us. We can record Wednesday as well. I forgot we don't record on Thursdays anymore. Today's Wednesday, so we'll have a normal episode next week. The following week, you guys are flying over to Germany, and you're going to be working the brow. Is it the brow or is it BevTech? I forget which one it is called.
Brow.
Okay, is it always called the brow or Drink Tech? What am I thinking of, Todd?
Drink Tech is every 4 years, and when they have Drink Tech, they don't have the brow. And we've never been to Drink Tech.
Okay, and that's one in Munich.
Yeah, I think so.
Because, the brows and
we've never been. So
okay,
yeah.
right, but okay, I just forgot which one it was this year. So, anyways, the brow in Nuremberg, they're going to be working that, and so I'm scheduling.
You were supposed to go too, weren't you?
Oh, you want to bring that up? Let's have the Homebrew Happy Therapist Hour. All the stuff I've been crying to my therapist about, and he took the kegerator away from me too. Yeah, chuckle, uncomfortable. You take everything away. No, I'm going to be interviewing the winner of our Alt Pokal, Brian Garrity. He's been on the show. You might think I recognize that name if you're a listener and you didn't watch Alt Pokal. That's because he won our first Kolsch Cup back in 2021. Then he submitted his Alt this year and took that down too. So the poor guy has to make some more space for our trophies. But I'm going to have him on the show. And I don't remember if y'all are missing just 1 week or two, because your trip, I think you're missing 2 weeks, aren't y'all, worth of content? Yeah. So I'm gonna have to pull. I was trying to get Randy from Spruce on Tap. I gotta follow up with him. But either way, so it'll be some interview shows towards the end of the month. And I'm trying to think of anything else for y'all. But yeah, y'all are leaving on that Saturday right after Thanksgiving, and then y'all don't come back till like December the 5th.
Yes, that's correct.
Yep. So good trip, long trip, on y'all's feet the whole time. Are y'all suits ready? James, have you gotten your suit out and ready?
Yeah, I tried it on this morning. It still fits. So
what is the deal with that, James? I tried mine out this morning too. As soon as I woke up, I put my suit on. If I'm butt naked, it fits great.
There you go. You figured your problem out.
It's not, obviously, it's not the suit from 2018's brow, because that was when we had like the weight loss competition. And I remember us buying suits that year and me thinking like, oh, this suit's not going to last. Not for you. That was rude. I meant mine.
No, you meant mine too. Mine. I bought another suit after that. I have a fat suit and a skinny suit. I haven't used a skinny suit in a long time.
The skinny suit's just for motivation nowadays. And in the closet.
It hasn't really motivated me now.
My mom, if you're watching this, Mom, I promise that was not a jab at him at first. It's funny now that I think about it, but I really was talking about my suit when I bought, because I was in great shape back then from the weight loss challenge. But I remember buying it thinking, I'm dropping a lot of money on something that's not going to last for a while. But, I can get myself in and out. Like you said, they make Spanx for men like that, like skin sucking? If they do, then that suit will fit me perfect for the next thing I wear it for. Anyway, y'all are going to be out of town. The Dovetail talk for that. Guest coming up. Oh, so I guess before we get to listener feedback, I will say members of the Trub Club who receive recipes this month, you're in for a treat because you're getting the California Common, a delicious recipe, James Carlson original. It's an homage to the Anchor Steam, which James and I talked about last week. If you want to try Anchor Steam, too bad, it's gone. But last month we did an homage to their Christmas ale, and now this month is kind of our last homage for a while to them, and it's for the Steam beer, which I think a lot of people 35 and up, or I'll say 40 and up. I'm a little bit younger than that, but that was their first craft beer, James, like maybe not their first local craft beer, but like first that they could source it, because Anchor had been distributing steam around the country for as long as I can remember. So it wasn't like it was hard to get, and it was very enjoyable, and we all miss it. But James, a few years ago, came up with this awesome recipe, so we are shipping it out. Thank you to our sponsors for providing premium ingredients that make these kits possible, like Munton's Malt, hopsdirect.com, and of course, Imperial Yeast. We're using their cable car strain, which is made specifically for California Commons. So you cannot go wrong with this kit. Some people watching who didn't watch last week or hear us talk about it before may go, oh my gosh, a lager. Y'all never do lagers because people don't have the ability to lager easily, blah, blah, blah. Well, yes, but also this is a hybrid lager, right? So you could ferment it, I believe, up to 65, which is like the range for an ale. So if you have the ability to ferment, the temperatures are dropping in most parts of the country. You have the ability to ferment at that 65 or below range. You're not going to have any problems with this. Or we have a new section on kegconnection.com I've really been trying to get people involved with, where we're pushing pressure fermentation stuff too. If you want to give that a try, this, I think, James, would be a fantastic recipe to try it on because of that kind of hybrid style. So you could, if you can't get your place down below 70, okay, put the spunding valve on your pressure rated vessel. That's an important caveat here. You have to have a vessel that can handle pressure, and you put your spunding valve on it and you let it go to town under pressure. And it's great. It's easy to do. When we get to a question later for holiday gift ideas, I actually have some stuff that show that are accessories for doing it in a keg. So it's I think this is a great kit to try that on, a recipe kit to try that on if you're on the fence about trying pressure fermentation. Or again, 99% of people can probably ferment at 65 right now. If you're brewing and fermenting ales, that's where you're probably at anyway. So I'm comfortable sending this out. And like I said, the ingredients and stuff, just premium stuff. We're very excited to get this out to you. Learn more at patreon.com/homebrew happy hour. Join the recipe receiving tier. Get this delicious kit and come brew with us. Again, one last thank you to our friends at Munton's, hopsdirect.com, and Imperial Yeast. And guys, speaking of fermenting, go ahead. Go ahead, Sam.
I was going to say, I think you could ferment even higher than 65 with that yeast.
Well, I think 65 is the high end, though, isn't it?
The ideal high end, but I don't think you get a lot of off flavors, even if you went up to like 70.
Well, define many, and maybe we'll formulate a $5 bet.
I don't think you would. I don't think it would be noticeable if you went up to 70.
You think it would be negligible at 70? Interesting.
Yeah, I'll brew it at 70. But I'll do it at 70.
Yeah, because I'm only shaking, doing my arms and being snotty like this because the actual temperatures, if your ambient temp that it's in is 70, when it's fermented,
I have brewed it at a higher. I've done it at a higher temperature. But
I'm saying the 70 is high because when it's actually fermenting, what's it going to get up to?
Okay, I'd go to 71.
Oh my gosh! Because then the actual fermentation.
I've actually brewed it at that temperature before.
Oh no, kid! And served it to us and didn't say anything.
Yeah,
you mean ferment? You didn't brew it; you fermented.
I fermented it at that temperature because I didn't have any way to control temperatures before.
I don't remember that. Did we talk about that on the show?
I don't know.
Oh, and in that batch, I don't remember you ever brewing a bad California Common. You actually haven't had it on tap in a long time.
I'm just saying, I don't think people would have to keep it that cold because it is. That's kind of it's not.
It's a hybrid.
It doesn't. It's not. It's a hybrid. So,
no, it is. Yeah. It's a hybrid, and it's what most. I say most. Pardon me. The only other hybrid strains I know they have are the green patch for the German ales. So I was going to say this is a blue one, as if it's for a lager because it's technically a lager yeast, but it's a hybrid to where it doesn't have to be fermented so cold. But either way, like Todd's saying too, I think he's just proving my point that this is a very friendly lager for our Trub Club to get into. And then if the more of y'all, and we're busting at the seams, James, you saw how many packages I shipped out for, that's a great thing before I get into the actual content. All your Kolsch stages, if I have your address, check your Patreon inbox to see if I have it for the lower tiers, but $10 and up for sure. All of y'all got your Kolsch stages shipped out to you. It was a metric crap ton of boxes that went out. And Alt Pokal, I got all your shirts and scorecards sent to you yesterday. Believe it or not, guys, it only took me 7 hours to do all that. I'm not the most time efficient person, but I got it all done. They're all shipped out. Most of it's by USPS. Brian, your package was way too big for USPS, our grand champion. So your trophy went out FedEx, but everyone else, check your mailbox over the next few days. You will be getting your Kolschtange or your alt.
Oh my gosh. I was going to tell you, Josh, I forgot to tell you yesterday, but they hadn't picked any of those packages up when we got back at 5.
Shut up. I left. So
literally I walk in and I'm about to leave at like 5:05, or maybe it was, I don't know exactly what time, but right around 5.
It was almost 5.
And here's the lady drives up and says, oh, somebody else was on the route. I mean, this is somebody else's route, and they gave it to me, so I'm going kind of slow, and she picked them all up, so they all went out.
Okay, so they did go out. Okay, well, oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, but I got here, and I was like, what the hell? And I asked James, or everybody that was here, I was like, what the hell's going on? Why are there all these USPS packages here? So he said, oh, Josh must have waited till the last minute.
No, they were out. I don't know if you have cameras in the warehouse anymore. No, because remember, I took off early, so I couldn't have waited that long. But that's also an indictment to that I left early because I didn't know they didn't get picked up. No, boss, I was there till close. I turned off the lights, switched out the thing, and
we came back and checked on you. Yeah.
A good policy to have. But yeah, all that stuff is available or is shipped out. And we would love for you to go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour, join the community at any given tier. The people in the $5 tier, I ended up shipping these out to. And if I have your address, I did message y'all and a lot of y'all replied. And so I'm getting those out as I'm getting your replies. But my point going with all of this is we try to take care of the community as much as we can and show y'all how much we appreciate your support. We're 357 episodes into this wild thing. We could not do this without your support. So thank you so much. Again, patreon.com/homebrew happy hour. Gentlemen, we do have a patch show. Let me get started. But before we do that, it's time for listener feedback. We do have some listener feedback. It's a voicemail from our buddy Stuart from San Diego with some tips for fermenting in a keg.
Homebrew Happy Hour crew, Stuart from San Diego. Hope all is well with you guys. Got a little bit of feedback on fermenting in kegs. My fermenting vessel of choice these days. Able to get 4.5, 4 3/4 gallons into a standard 5-gallon keg. Obviously, keg holds a little bit more than 5 gallons, but what I've been using is Firm Cap. It's a foam controlling agent. More Beer sells it. I'm sure you guys are familiar. Just a couple drops into my beer when I pitch yeast, and totally cuts down on any sort of the krausen that's developing during fermentation. So it allows me to run a jumper from my fermenting keg, run gas to another the beverage post of a sanitized keg, and then on that extra keg, I run a spunding valve on the gas post. So therefore, during fermentation, CO2 is filling up that entire keg from the bottom up. And so at the end of fermentation, I can just do a beverage to beverage jumper. And then I'm moving spunded beer at about 10 or 15 PSI, and I'm ready to drink in a couple of days. So I appreciate all the help you guys do. But if you're looking at fermenting in kegs, definitely look at some Firm Cap or some foam controlling agent. Really helps keep those blow-off tubes clean. Thanks, everybody.
Now, this fantastic feedback. Thank you so much, Stuart, for leaving it. I love the timing of it because there was a question I had in the database from homebrewhappyhour.com submit a question form that this ties perfect in. So I'm going to read that, and then we'll tie in Stuart's answer to all this. So our first question of the show, it's our buddy Marcus, who used the submit a question link at homebrewhappyhour.com. And Marcus wrote, "Hello, fellas. Your recent video with Jonathan Marut was a great interview and demonstration. I enjoyed seeing the various tools used for fermenting under pressure in a keg and quick carbonating in a keg, and even serving from a keg. One aspect of serving from the keg that was missing, and I hope you can help me understand, is how do you carbonate the beer inside of the keg that you also fermented in when it comes time to do that and serve? If there is trub and sediment all at the bottom, would shaking the keg stir all of that up into an incredible mess? The idea of fermenting and serving from the same keg appeals to me. I want to make sure I understand what I am getting myself into. Thanks, Marcus. We kind of talked about this off air, guys. And Stuart, I didn't give you all the transcript because in the feedback part, it would just take up too much space. Stuart answered a lot of that, right? In his feedback in regards to, I didn't think about it. So, for transparency's sake, and I think everyone watching this knows, and why did my camera go off of? There we go. We don't ferment in kegs. We never have. And we've never served from the vessel we fermented in, unless you're counting the copious amounts of samples y'all sometimes take from the CF15, the spike conical that y'all, but y'all have never actually used that as just a serving vessel only. You always transfer into a keg at some point. But Stuart brings a good point in regards to, my concern with Marcus's question at first was, golly, the Krausen? How much headspace are you going to need for that and to account for? And then also, if you could use a floating dip tube in that keg that you fermented in, but when it comes time to carbonate, how, Todd? How would you, in regards to just addressing Marcus's question, if you wanted to truly use one vessel for everything? I know it's possible, but is it recommended?
I mean, again, we have, you could use we've got the carbonating cap that puts the dip tube into the beer, but not all the way down to the bottom. So you could use that. And I wouldn't use it with a real high PSI. I would put it at 11, 12 PSI and let it slowly carbonate, but it would still carbonate a lot faster than if you did, that if you just put 10 or 12 PSI without a carbonating stone and left it, which it eventually would carbonate that way as well, but it'd be a lot faster with a carbonating stone. So you could do that. You could transfer the keg you could transfer the beer to another keg using a jumper. But if you do that, it would be different than the way people normally do it. You'd want to do it with a floating dip tube, and then you'd want to pull that disconnect off as soon as you started to see some stuff as it got to the bottom, before you put much of that stuff over there, and then you could carbonate it in that keg. I mean, I think there's a lot of ways to do it. I think the most important thing is to get the keg and the beer super cold as you can get it with your setup. So for instance, just barely above freezing would be great. Then you're going to have more stuff drop out faster and clarify more. The only other thing, we're talking about on the Krausen, he mentioned a spunning valve, and then he also mentioned using the stuff to keep the foam down. I think if you were using a spunning valve and you were pressure fermenting, you're going to have a lot less Krausen that way than you would without one.
I think listening to him, and again, I don't have the transcript. Here's how I heard it. The spunning valve is on the. So he has two kegs, the one he's fermenting in, and he's actually taking from that keg that's fermenting out to another keg, the gas.
And he's using the spunning valve on the other keg to let it release pressure. But if you did that, wouldn't it be exactly the same as if you had a spunning valve on the first one? Because you're never. I agree. Your pressure on that first keg is still going to be at whatever the spunning valve set at. 1,000%. I'm just saying. I think his whole point is he's now he's purging that next keg, ready to transfer liquid to liquid. Sure. And like you said, doing the first. But why? I don't understand why he would. I don't understand why you would get much action or foam and everything if you were fermenting under pressure.
Oh, well, that's you read my mind, because that was something I noted on myself here to bring up. Is I've never used firm cap, but I have seen, like, my pop and I just did the breakfast stout, right? And the primary, it had a healthy big old Krausen. We didn't do it under pressure because we didn't need to, but I do remember, like, James, when you're doing beers under pressure, that kind of suppresses the Krausen, right? Like it
does. Yeah. Like the last beer that I did in the clear fermenter, you can literally see the foam held back by the pressure inside the fermenter.
So to Todd's point, the firm cap would just be to totally neutralize the possibility of any. But like you're saying, Todd, the pressure itself, in your experience and understanding, would do that already. It's just an extra step. That's probably
extra step. But of course, and some people may do it where it's not pressure fermented as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would definitely need to suppress it or put less beer in.
But and the reason I tie these two together is because it's the interesting concept. Like when you ferment under pressure, and he's taking, so Stuart's recommendation is where here's how I think I'm understanding it, and then I think it would be my suggestion to Marcus. It's not going to be the same vessel, and we'll get to why maybe we don't want to do that in the same vessel. But if you have one keg, you probably have two kegs, let's be real. And if you don't, go to kegconnection.com, use promo code HHH, get yourself one, and save 5% off your order, or join a tier of our Chub Club and get even higher discounts. Either way, one keg that you're fermenting in, you're taking the gas out, you're getting that other ready. Your beer, when you're about ready to go liquid to liquid and transfer it to get it off that yeast cake, it's carbonated pretty stinking good because of the pressure fermentation, right? It's not fully carbonated, but that gives you already a beer that you could just set and forget and split the time that a set and forget would normally take. Let's say a set and forget's normally a week. It could be 2 weeks. I'm making numbers up because I don't have a chart in front of me and I'm bad at math. But my point being, the pre-spunded beer is not quite ready to go. But like Stuart said, for him, it's just a few days and then boom, it's at perfect carbonation. I think that's the best solution if you're dead set on fermenting in a keg, is to have two kegs, the fermenting one and then your actual serving one.
So we've got kits that, I think you mentioned, that we're putting together so that people will be able to have all those things. So maybe we already talked about having a spunding valve. I mean, maybe we need to look at adding some other things, or
we need to make a jumper cable
on that page. Well, that's easy. Yeah,
I know. I'm saying we need to make that a product. We need to make the jumper cable.
We make them for people all the time. I didn't even realize it wasn't on the site.
Yeah, that's probably my fault. Actually,
it needs to be on the site anime.
It does need to be on the site. Yeah, that's my fault. I'm going to edit this part out because that was my fault. And we're back. But let's address the part about if you were to do it all in one keg, guys. Is there enough pressure, James, built from doing pressure fermentation in a keg that you could get by with not having to do additional carbonation that would stir up that trub at the bottom? Or is there no way around it? Is it almost impossible to ferment in a keg, serve from that same keg, and have a clear beer? Can you have all three of those in a checkbox,
I think it's definitely not out of the realm of possibilities. I think that if you had it setting in that cooler under carbonation long enough for it to clarify and settle to the bottom, then it is possible with a floating dip tube to have clear beer that you fermented in the keg. But you've got to have a floating dip tube, because even a dip tube that's clipped at the bottom, there's going to be so much mess at the bottom. It's going to eventually try to make its way into the dip tube.
And like Todd said, the colder the beer is, the
less that's going to happen.
The less that's going to happen, right? I mean, it's going to not in suspension. What's the word I'm thinking of? Like, it just keeps it static at the bottom. Like
it just layered. It seems like the colder temperatures make it a little denser at the bottom of the keg, and it's not apt to. You've seen those little. It looks almost like whiffs of white puffy smoke, and that's the really fine particles that come up. Especially if you've got a glass carbo and you're moving into a secondary, or you're moving into a keg and you're using a rack and cane, you can see it wanting to find its way to the cane inlet. But when it's cold, it doesn't seem to do that. It's not as apt to do that as much.
Yeah. I need to try. So what he's describing, I can basically accomplish. It's not two kegs. My pop and I have the Anvil Fermenter King, and we also have the Kegland Firmzilla, which y'all have as well. And I could, next time we brew, and if we do it under pressure, I could go off of that gas, come into a keg, and with the spunding valve, and see how well it captures the CO2, and I've never thought of doing that. Not that I don't want to say it's lazy, like in a derogatory way, but it's just so easy for me to purge a keg like that I'm getting ready to transfer liquid into, like we have a dual body regulator on our CO2 system. So it's not inconveniencing our draft system. It's not inconveniencing anything. We just take that extra line and purge the keg. And then we put that gas on the Firmzilla on the Firmzilla or whichever vessel we're doing to apply like 5 PSI to start the liquid transfer from liquid to liquid. But maybe I'll try what Spencer's talking about, or Stuart from San Diego at some point, and see if I, what difference that makes in regards to the keg, or, save me a little bit of time from having to purge that keg, which, by the way, I'll put that picture up right here. Bing. Y'all are going to be out of town next time I come up, but y'all's 2 kegs, 1 each of breakfast stout, they're in my fridge, man. That stuff is kegged. And I tell y'all what, even without carbonation, it's good. It's delicious.
Awesome.
This
Can't wait.
Y'all both got a little under 4 gallons is what it came out to, what we brewed. We were able to get 12 and a half into the fermenter, and we kegged right about 12. So 3 kegs of basically 4 gallons each. And I'll bring those up. Or maybe I will, because I can put them in the walk-in. If I don't bring them up this next trip, I'm never going to bring them up. So I'll bring them up, and I'll put them in the walk-in so that when y'all get back, you'll have beer upstairs in the walk-in. But anyway.
That's awesome, man. Because it's twice as much work for you to supply us with kegs, because you can only do 10 at a time.
We did a double brew day. It was.
I wonder if you think it'd be worth James betting him $5 that he forgets the keg just so we can get the keg.
You want $5?
Yeah, that'd be worth $5.
The last few times, you remember that he.
I didn't know. There was one time the Kolsch, and it took me 7 weeks to bring y'all. Yes.
Yeah. Josh, I'm going to hereby bet you $5 that you forget those 2 kegs of beer on your next trip.
I don't want to. I'm going to be out $5. Yes, deal. Handshake. Deal.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot about the. Yeah. You're like, easy as $5. That I forgot about the walk-in, because as I was saying that out loud, I'll bring it. One time I brought beer for you, Todd, and I had to really make room in that bottom part of your beer fridge, because you're either stocked full of beer or you have plenty of room. Right now, I know you actually have plenty of room because you have that whole extra kegerator not plugged in. So
Two of them.
Oh, but neither one of those 2 are plugged in?
Nope.
Oh, where? Oh,
they're both in the garage. You didn't notice they weren't there?
I didn't at opening weekend.
Yeah, I took them out before opening weekend.
I didn't notice. I was drinking your Kolsch so much, which I think, I don't know if we've talked about on the show. James, have you had that Kolsch?
No, that's the one I told you. Remember when
we
did
the
contest? I said that was one of the best Kolsch's I've ever had homebrew.
It is stupid good.
Yeah,
it is stupid good. I like it a lot. But
I just got to brew an alt.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. There's a lot of stuff that you want to brew, including the California Comment at patreon.com/homebrew happy hour. Anyway, Stuart, thank you so much for the feedback, which bled into Marcus's question. If you use the submit a question link at homebrewhappyhour.com and we use it on a future episode, you get yourself a $15 gift card to Keg Connection, which you're thinking that's pretty good. Or be like Stuart, leave a great voicemail, either feedback or question, to 325-305-6107 and get yourself a $25 gift card to kegconnection.com. I'm just handing out Todd's money like a dollar bill at a strip club.
You are. You made me think of something else too, Josh. If people are going to ferment in a keg and they're going to do the California Common and they're going to have a spinning valve and be under pressure, then at that point the temperature doesn't matter
at all,
really either. But I wonder if there's any flavor that you need the temperature for a California Common.
Oh, good point. You mean that you would be suppressing by doing it under pressure?
Yeah, because that's part of that flavor profile, is because it's taking that yeast and using it at a higher temperature. So that change the flavor if you did it under pressure.
James, what are your thoughts? How would it drastically change it?
I don't think it would on that particular strain of yeast. I think that I would be worth trying for sure.
There we go.
We could do 3. We could do one in a keg under pressure. We could do one at 65 degrees and one at 70 degrees.
Do it. I mean, do one batch and let's do it that way and split it up the 3 ways.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna brew 3 batches.
I know. I was just saying instead of having us each brew or something. I mean, like, you do it. I'll come up there when you're back. When y'all are back from your trip, we can try that. Unless you think you have time between now and then.
No,
I already knew the answer to that. I'm bringing up anything, and I'll be like, "Hey, we should get this done." Nope. He's like senioritis mode, but y'all getting ready for the brow. It's exciting. So anyways, yeah, all that stuff. Our second question of the show is a voicemail. It's our buddy Travis from Katy, Texas.
Hey guys, this is Travis from Katy, Texas. I had a question regarding Regulator. I have an issue with it rising and not keeping the set pressure. So for instance, I'll usually put my beer in the keg, set the pressure at like 10 psi, and I'll come out there maybe the next day or the day after, and I'll have the regulator sitting at like 14 psi. And trying to figure out if this is my regulator that's rising, if it's not holding that set pressure, or if my beer is causing some sort of back pressure. And because this particular regulator does not have like a shut off or check valve. I do ferment under pressure, so there is the beer is already carbonated. So I'm wondering if maybe the temperature in my keg or my kegerator is too cold, and it's actually carbonating at a higher volume than what my set pressure is. So wondering if maybe you guys have come across this, or if I need to look into another regulator, or what could be causing this. Love the show, guys. Great job. And it's a weekly listen for me. I'm also been enjoying the Trub Club this year. So started, I guess, back in April. I've got a 2-tap kegerator, which is perfect for the every other month. And no, great job. I enjoyed the podcast. You guys keep it up. Thanks.
I liked it, Travis, that you were trying to think of additional things to butter us up with. Like, what else can I say to? No, Travis is a great member. I do also want to give a shout out to our buddy Blind Brew Guy. Fred Coleman is the reason we did the every other month. When we launched the Trub Club at every month, he was like, who can brew that much? And I was like, I didn't think of anyone else's perspective but my own. And we did the every other, and that is the most popular group. I think total between those two, it's like 50 or 48 or 50, 46, and of the every month it's like 30 something. But we like, which I appreciate the every other month, because if all those people together were every month, it's like 70 some odd kids every month. That'd be terrible, because it's me up there. Sometimes Todd's up there helping too, but that would be terrible, sending 70 something every month. That would take me 2 days. But anyways, it's a great question. James, what might cause regulator creep? And also maybe it was my twitching eyebrows, but I noticed when he said his regulator doesn't have like a check valve, could that be a problem too? But let's start with what could be causing regulator creep at like first glance. What are some of the issues?
Well, I mean, the only thing, Todd's really the expert on regulators, but there's a little cartridge that maintains that controls the pressure in the center of that body. So if you take the bonnet off and you look at that cartridge, sometimes air can get it. It's supposed to be sealed off. So it's sealed off the high pressure from the low pressure, and it lets the low pressure go through. But sometimes those can leak and can cause it to what we call creeping, which is going up in pressure over the set pressure. So a lot of times I think that's why they end up doing that, but Todd probably has a better explanation than I do.
Yes, Todd, let's throw it to you.
Yeah, I mean, he brings up a really good point, that if his beer was overcarbonated, would that cause his regulator pressure to go up? I mean, he's saying that he doesn't have a pressure relief valve on his regulator. Is that what he was?
I heard check valve is what I heard. I didn't. I
mean, first and foremost, you need a check valve on your regulator. If you don't have a check valve on your regulator, you should change your valve out and get a check valve on it. I'm suspicious he doesn't have one, because the vast majority of regulators come with one. If it's an older regulator, let's say it's something like an old Taprite or one of the other, good regulator brands, like James said, I would rebuild it. I would put a new cartridge in and a new diaphragm, and between those two things, it will fix, whatever issues he's having with creep. I guess it's plausible if he didn't have a check valve, he could be getting a buildup on the gauge because he's got pressure going backwards. But again, you're also going to very likely to get liquid flowing up through your regulator body as well. So get a check valve on that regulator. If it's a newer regulator, there's a lot of pretty inexpensive Chinese made regulators on the market these days that just don't do a good job. They creep, they have all kinds of problems. If it came with an inexpensive kind of big box store kegerator, the fridge is fine, but usually a lot of people come to us and end up replacing the regulator because they're just not very good quality. So
yeah,
is then the last thing he mentioned, maybe his beer's too cold and he's over carbonating the beer, the volume of the beer because it's colder than he realizes. I don't think that's the problem because, if it wouldn't take too much for the beer to freeze at that point, so, it can't go super low to where you're getting way too much carbonation in it because the beer would freeze. So I don't really think that's a problem. I don't know what PSI he's putting his spinning valve on. If he's putting the spinning valve at, 15 or 20 PSI, yeah. But if he's keeping it, most people I think keep it around 10.
I think he said 10.
Yeah, then I don't think that's it.
Yeah. And
I don't think you're going to overcarbonate your beer, even if it's at 32 degrees, if you have it at 10 PSI.
Right. I was just thinking too, I remember the original days when China would flood the market with knockoffs. And I will give them, I don't always like to give the knockoff companies credit, but I will give them credit that they're at least a lot safer. Do you remember the early days where they would send kegs with like no pressure relief valve? And like the potential for those to explode was actually likely or possible, not likely necessarily. But I just remember even the regulators too, like you said, it wouldn't surprise me if someone still had one of those from 8 or 10 years ago that has no check valve or whatever. And like, why is this thing not working? Yeah, because liquid came back up through the regulator and totally just flooded it. You get calls like this.
That's what he's talking about, though. That is a scenario.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe I don't know how long he's had his setup, but maybe he found, or maybe, on Marketplace. You ever go on Facebook Marketplace? I know you don't, James. You don't do Facebook, but Marketplace is the bane of existence for trying to sell stuff online. And, but I see every now and then.
Oh, that's the one y'all sent the video of the other day.
James did. Yeah.
That was one of the funniest things I've watched in a long time. You should do a link to that, Josh, because that was funny.
I will. I'll put it. Yeah. I'll, you sent it to the group chat, right? That's where you put the video.
I did. Yeah.
Okay. I'll get the link from that, but it describes it perfectly. But where I'm going with this is I guess the algorithm Facebook's algorithm sees me talk about beer or brewing. And so I'll get ads or at least promoted listings on Facebook Marketplace. And I will sometimes, Todd, see those old, like knockoffs. I forget, some of them had names, but you remember like the Chinese regulators.
Josh, we literally had a guy come in, James, 2 hours before the podcast.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll go get it. Hang on.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Todd's did that.
Did he leave it here?
Yeah. Todd doesn't have the nice headphones like you where he can hear when he walks away. but it's wild that I'll see some of this stuff that I'm like, I remember Todd testing these regulators out, 10 plus years ago, and him being like, oh my God, nobody should have these. Because
I had a buddy that bought a Chinese kegerator. And he took it out of the box. We set everything up, went and got the keg and connected the regulator, and it was just exactly like the one Todd's holding. And it was a piece of crap.
Hey, yeah, there we go.
And I don't have any idea what brand this is. It has a K or something on it.
It's Keg Co. Should I blur that out? Because we're not.
No, I don't care. It's just this regulator.
It's garbage.
This particular one is terrible.
We've
just almost everybody that buys them ends up replacing them. So,
or here's what's even funny or not funny. People sometimes buy those thinking that they're buying from us because of the way a certain domain directs to a different company. And so trying to
one that has it plural.
Yeah. That one. I don't. Yeah, well, there's a couple domains we don't have that direct to competitors, but yes, but they'll call about that, James, and you know how hard it is to, well, one, try to provide service for them, like, well, let's walk you through it, and then they're like, oh, this is the brand I have, like, oh no, this is going to be terrible, because you don't want to come across like scummy, salesmen of like, listen, just ditch it, like you're going to be.
It's like, okay, here's how you fix it. Take it, go grab your trash can. No. Okay, now put the regulator in your right hand and grab the trash can with your left and place the regulator in the trash can.
And before people, sometimes I get feedback like this, Josh, you come across too infomercially sometimes. But listen, the reason why, like even Taprite, before Todd got invested in that project of making the CM Becker regulator to try to provide a premium industry alternative to other higher brands, Keg Connection was already giving an extended warranty on Taprite because of how reliable they are. And he's giving a 5-year warranty on CM Becker ones because of how much you believe in them and how little you think we're going to have to service them, Todd. So like, I'm just saying, like, he at least put it out there where if you buy a CM Becker regulator, 5 years of full support of that product, if need be. And again, that's not because you want to service regulators. It's because you don't think you're going to have to. So, like, some people want to save money up front. And by saving money, it's not that much. Like, it's not that much to get the Chinese knockoff. You're not saving that much compared to a Taprite or a CM Becker. But then, you're going to end up replacing it in 18 months, 2 years, 3 years. Anyways, I could go on a rant.
I just found this regulator online, and it's like $70.
Exactly. So you save $4. I think it's nothing. Nothing, not worth the headache. And unless you're, if you're getting it on, I don't know how our competitors are doing their warranties on it, but I don't think they are. But anyways, Travis, I don't have a lot more to add to that. Like Todd said, you summed it up pretty good, Todd. You don't think it's the temperature. You think it's probably a quality issue with the regulator he has. Travis, you're always more than welcome. I'm going to put the blinking number of Todd's cell phone on the screen again. You're always welcome to contact Todd Burns at kegconnection.com or myself or James. Any of us can help you get going. But one of the first things, like Todd said, get yourself a check valve. If you're intent on using that same regulator body, get yourself a check valve somewhere in that line between your body and the keg that it's going to, because that will save you also potential headache and hardship. So, Travis, thank you so much for submitting that question. A final reminder, if and when you send us a voicemail like Travis did, like Stuart did, and like our third question, Lindsay did, you get yourself a $25 gift card to kegconnection.com when I use it on a future episode. So go ahead and dial 325-305-6107. And like I said, our third and final question of the show, it is another voicemail, and it's our buddy Lindsay.
Hi guys, my name is Lindsay, and I'm calling for some help. My brother-in-law brews a lot and is trying to get my husband more involved with brewing too. And they both watch your YouTube show, and my brother-in-law really loves it. My husband and I are stumped about what to get him for Christmas. I mean, he has a kegerator, and he's really happy with his brew stuff. And we want to get him something craft-related. However, we're having, just insane trouble thinking about what to get him. Any budget-friendly suggestions? Thanks.
If she didn't say he was happy with his brew system, I'll just say budget-friendly brow tog, 3-vessel herm, brah, brah, brah. No, thank you, Lindsay, for submitting that question. A very common question we get this time of year, guys. This is a fresh voicemail, not even 5 days old. I got it, and I was like, it's the perfect timing to throw this out there, mostly because kegconnection.com is about to have the holiday sale galore that happens every Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend, through the end of the year, basically, of great deals. Todd, can I start kind of?
Well, yeah, my first suggestion would be the remanufactured 18-liter, basically 5-gallon keg that, to me, they're just beautiful, and every home brewer wants more kegs. So that would probably, and I have a feeling that they're going to be possibly at a good price for Black Friday.
That's what, I was going to throw some hints if you can wait. And we didn't actually say when we were going to launch it. I had suggested maybe just launching this whole thing Monday and getting the ball going. So starting Monday, you hear it.
Let's do it. Let's do it Monday.
You heard it here first, folks. Monday, which will be the 15th. What day of the I don't even know. I don't have a calendar in front of me. But by the way, the Monday after we published this episode, go to kegconnection.com, and everything on the website is going to be at least 15% off, including those premium remanufactured 18-plus liter kegs that Todd's talking about, the 9-plus liter, which those have been flying, dude. How impressive has that been, that the 9 liters have just been selling like they have been? James, I think you'll agree with me. The soda carbonating kits have been flying. It is nuts how many we sell of those. Now, to answer Lindsay's question, though, let me get off of my salesman thing. I actually brought some suggestions because Todd and I were supposed to film Monday evening when we got back to the barn, but I forgot the products to bring.
So what did we do instead?
We drank.
We drank.
So we drank. But
why the hell not?
I know, right? But I brought them with me, and they're kind of relevant to the question, to Stuart's feedback and to Marcus's question and things we've been talking about. I have all the accessories, Todd, of fermenting in a keg with the very basic, literal fermenting lid that has an airlock on it. A lot of people using this for a budget-friendly way to ferment in a keg, and then they would transfer they would have this floating dip tube lid on there already when they're ready to transfer from this to another keg to serve, or try to drink out of it, the keg that they just fermented in, and it not be, too hazy. I also have, for completing that, the spunding valve kit with the premium CM Becker regulator or disconnect, which I believe right now is an exclusive at kegconnection.com, because I think other people pushing this Kedland kit are also pushing those Kedland disconnects. And James, I won't even ask you to go on your rant about the. You can just nod and be like, "Yes, they are pushing those Kedland disconnects, but not us. We are selling them with the premium CM Becker disconnects." All kidding aside, and being
we do carry the Kedland disconnects. If anybody wants that product with an less superior, not as good disconnect, we do keep.
You'll do that. You'll keep the price the same, but you'll do that. But what, like, kidding aside, Lindsay, I really do think if you go, by the time you listen to this, or I'll reply I'll text the number that you had left with a link to the landing page, because we have a keg accessory page. I really do think, unless you know the person who kegs in your life has these, like the quick carbonating lid, I didn't bring it with me because Todd already did a video on it. That's a fantastic gift idea for someone who already kegs, but they're wanting additional accessories and all this stuff. I would call it budget friendly. This lid with the floating dip tube is $35. The spunding valve is like $30 with the premium disconnect. The quick carbonating lid is also like $30 or $35. I mean,
how about a V3S faucet? Who wouldn't? I would love if my daughter said, "Hey, Dad, I know you've had the same faucets forever. Here's new beer faucets." I would love that.
Getting them with a stylish compact, or would you go bent nozzle if you were
bent nozzle, V3S bent nozzle?
Yeah,
forward sealing,
dude.
It's got that piston inside that floats and seals.
We just installed some in a new restaurant.
Is that what they went with? Was
yesterday.
V3S? They went
V3S, yeah, with a bent nozzle. We actually put a little bit different, shorter bent nozzle because of these huge mugs they're using, but they look. Yeah. I like the longer ones. I like the look of those a lot, but these look pretty good too. So
I would also say, because there's so many, I like these questions because there's such a variety of possible answers. Like, if she said he had a kegerator, I don't want to split hairs over semantics, because to me, if he had like a built himself keezer, she might have used that word. But let's say he has a keezer. If he doesn't have flow control, the X1 faucet would be a very budget-friendly entry into getting him into flow control. And I would say,
just remember to buy the shank to go with it.
I think Keg Connection only sells the bundle. Like,
that's good.
Yeah. And I believe on the cold side, on the dispense side, flow control is the biggest game changer on the dispense side that you could get in regards to the dispensing part of having craft beer at home, because being able to control the restriction, and let's say, your kegerator or your teaser keeps opening and closing, the temperature's fluctuating. No, a normal faucet might be too foamy. You can just dial it down a little. It's going to be a slow pour, but it's going to be a good pour. Flow control is incredible. Like you said, James, though, the V3S is an extremely budget-friendly upgrade to a standard faucet. It's going to be forward seal. Like you said, it has that encapsulated piston inside of it. Creamer action on all the different versions of it, the bent nozzle or the compact. So you can add some head to your pour that you do if you're not happy with how it comes out. And like you said, it has different options for the actual aesthetics of it. I have a compact one at my dad's house. Well, now we have at Swan's. Well, we used to. I love the bent nozzle version now because my favorite faucet before all this is the discontinued V2G. That was my favorite. That thing was beautiful. It was a single cut metal. Like, it wasn't a spout insert, but the bent nozzle, it just looked so classic European. That was something I love. So the bent nozzle V3S, that is a great recommendation. Todd, I guess you had said the kegs for your suggestion, and those are, again, with 15% off too, they become extremely budget friendly. And this isn't necessarily relevant to Lindsay, but we have a lot of homebrew clubs that watch our show together. Todd just made me, because I promised to do it like a month ago and then I didn't, but it
wasn't a month ago.
Was it 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 months ago, he had me list the bulk pricing listing for the premium remanufactured kegs. Turns out I didn't do it, but I did it this week. And you, Todd, I don't want to have to edit this out, so I'm putting you, Johnny, on the spot. Didn't you agree that even though it's heavily discounted when they buy bulk, you're okay with letting that be 15% off as well?
Yeah, for that sale period.
For just that sale. Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, that's understood. I just mean it's going to be crazy cheap per keg if you buy a bundle of 25 or a bundle of 50 or a bundle of 75. That's all the listing. The links will be in the show notes. We have had homebrew clubs, write in for pricing on certain things like this or that. Now is the time as a homebrew club, take advantage of it and pick up some kegs for you. And then, or maybe Lindsay can find a homebrew club, jump in on the buy and get a really cheap 18 plus liter keg for her brother-in-law. Depends on how much you like him, Lindsay. I'm not going to make you answer that to us, but I think the person who he's already kegging and all that, keg accessories is my go-to. James, like you said, something on the dispense side upgrade, that's always a winner. It becomes more difficult when we don't know all the details, but I think we gave Lindsay a good foundation to start with of shopping. And if her husband watches the show, hi, Lindsay's husband, you can always reach out to us if you have additional context and you want more elaboration, or if you need any help. And with that being said, you guys, when y'all are out of town, I am the helpline at 325-356-5204. That's Keg Connection's phone line. If you call Cyber Monday through the Friday of that week, you're going to be dealing with me. I apologize, but it is what it is. Y'all remember the guy last year who ordered when I was up there all week, and he said, as a joke, please don't have Josh do my order. And so I wrote on the package, lovingly packed by Joshua on it. I'm hoping for a few more of those this year. Anyways, Lindsay, thank you so much for calling. Gentlemen, that's it. That's all I have for this week. I appreciate y'all's time. Y'all, we do have a normal episode for next week, and then y'all are gone for 2 weeks. So
gone.
So I will catch y'all next week.
All right, thanks.
See ya.
And that will do it for this episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. If you have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, go to homebrewhappyhour.com and click on that submit a question link at the top of the page, or now you can call, leave us a voicemail. You'll be Todd's best friend, but even better, you'll get yourself a $25 gift card to kegconnection.com when you use the hotline 325-305-6107. Thank you to our show sponsors like Munton's Malt, premium grains for a better brew day. If you aren't already brewing with Munton Malts, give them a try by joining our Trub Club at a recipe receiving level. For the best hops available online, give our friends at hopsdirect.com a visit and pick up what you need for your next brew day. Also, get a pack of Imperial yeast along with premium recipes from us when you join the Trub Club. Go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and come brew with us. On behalf of Todd Burns, James Carlson, and the Pearl Media Network, I'm Joshua Stubing. Thanks for listening.